This is TWiT.
So the third shoe has dropped. Things come in threes. The third fine from the EU for Google. This, the smallest fine, only a mere 1.49 billion euros, about $1.7 billion. And while Google stopped doing this almost immediately, so they don't have to make any agreements about not doing it anymore, it was a fine for limiting how some websites could display ads sold by others than Google's ad services, if that makes any sense. I don't know if it's over now. I don't know if Google's going to dispute this. I think they're just going to pay it because, A, it's not all that much money, and B, they've stopped doing it.
Yeah, they're just, I mean, I caught your conversation on Windows Weekly about this, and I think that's exactly right. They have so much money. They know these things are going to happen, especially in Europe, so they just pay the fine, make the changes that they have to make,
just the cost of doing business. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is for, you know, companies that were using their search for internal search. And, you know, essentially Google was hogging the best spots for advertising and trying to exert control over what sorts of advertising could happen by the website. And so it was a little bit abusive. I personally think it's kind of a borderline abuse. I don't think it doesn't bother me that much. I mean, they're not charging for the service, and it's voluntary. So on the part of the companies, but they are so dominant in Europe. They're much. I always remind people of this. They're far more dominant in Europe than they are in the United States, and so Google is a sore subject in Europe because they are so popular, basically. So. This is also, by the way, is the smallest of the big three fines. It's not that. It's not a lot of money for Google. No. It's just the cost of doing business in Europe.
It's not the end, however, of possible action or charges or fines. This
for sure.
This is the chart from the European Commission. There are actually 5 probes. 3 of them have been completed. The comparison shopping was the first. The misuse of Android was the second, and then this most recent one, advertising. Google has appealed the first 2. It has not yet appealed and probably won't appeal, I think, this one. And then there are 2 more probes ongoing with regard to local search and maps and scraping. And charges have not been filed. The probes are going on, but charges are not. So Google's not out of the
scraping?
woods.
I mean, I know what scraping is. I don't know what it is in context of Google.
I don't know. Probably, I'm going to guess it has to do, and this is a pure guess, but it has to do with snippets. It's that Leistungsrecht where Google puts snippets of content from the sites, news sites that it shows research results. I'm guessing. This is from a Wall Street Journal article, and I don't think they even explain what those other 2 probes are. So I apologize. I'll have to do some research. I apologize.
And I think this one's been going on for a while, 3 years or something like that. If I'm not mistaken.
Google stopped doing this in 2017.
Well, this one, but in terms of the scraping, I think that they've been looking at that for a long, long time, and so I think I don't know why it's taken them so long, other than it's the EU.
Yeah, and they're maybe hoping that Article 13? That's the scraping one. That might take care of it. I don't know. And it's controversial, as you know. France and Spain have both acted against snippets. Germany has too, with less than stellar results. So.